This is episode 3 of Conversations with Cynthia. Clarifications, corrections, and the poem. I believe I'm going to start my videos off by making some corrections of what I may have said wrong regarding Jack's quotes, clarifications of something I presented that people misunderstood, and also answering some questions and emails that I got were actually pretty valid, and then finishing the video up with the big picture and the poem. I hope you enjoy this video. When I showed some of the media emails where Forrest said I was the #1 searcher for his treasure, he didn't mean I had the correct solve, ever had the correct solve, or had gotten closer to the treasure than anyone else. He meant, in his mind, I had taken the most boots on the ground. He obviously did not know Justin Posey back then. In my first video, I used this quote allegedly from Jack the Finder to support my theory the chest had been hidden in Yellowstone. Jack sent me an email shortly afterwards that this quote about his heart was faked by someone. Jack also clarified this statement. He told me he hid it when he did because he was in Wyoming anyway for an event at the museum in Cody, so it was convenient to hide it on the same trip. Jack emailed me back. I didn't say he was staying in Cody when he hid it. I said it was during a trip to Cody. So what does all of this mean? Nothing. Forrest told me he was in Cody when he hid it. I received several emails from searchers telling me this was a nothing burger, as I knew it was. Here are a few clips from Forrest's 2006 interview for the Buffalo Bill Center of the West.
Came over and visited the Buffalo Bill Historical Center.
Well, we would go through Cody on the way to West Yellowstone. It was the most direct route, but we always stopped and spent, I don't know how much time, enough time to go through the whole thing. It was a highlight of our trip, really.
Now, how did you reconnect with the museum here in Cody? Our last conversation about the museum was when you were 6 years old and looking at a motley buffalo.
My heart was always in Yellowstone. And Cody was on the way to Yellowstone, and the Buffalo Bill Museum was on the way to Cody. So, it all kind of tied together with me. And when I had my gallery for 17 years, and even before I had my gallery in Santa Fe, I was giving things to the Buffalo Bill. I can't tell you how many paintings I gave them. Probably 25 or 30 paintings and lots of other stuff. I mean, endless stuff. And it was just something that it kind of made me part of it. I think a lot of it was memories of my mother and father and the trips and the wonderful fishing. It was all kind of married together. I was in Germany for 3 years, but I'd come home once a year. I'd come to the Buffalo Bill, on my way to Yellowstone. The Buffalo Bill, I don't think was ever a destination for me, but it was part of the draw. And I think that a lot of people in this country feel like I do about Yellowstone and in that same context, the Buffalo Bill.
And you come up and visit regularly?
I come up here about 4 times a year.
You still go back to Yellowstone?
Always go to Yellowstone in the summer.
Are you as excited when you come to Cody now as you were before?
Well, yeah, I always look forward to it. Well, I drove 891 miles yesterday to get here.
Someone recently asked me why I left my search area and went to the GPS solve last October, what came to be known as Operation Nook. That GPS location took me to a place on the map where I had extreme confirmation bias. I was compelled to find the spot and see the Nook. On July 22nd, I received an email from Forrest that the treasure was found in Wyoming. He asked me when I wanted my book, which was a first printing of TTOTC. Then he asked what I wanted in the book. I replied, a doodle, the date, and his signature. Then I requested a hint in the doodle to let me know if I was ever close to the treasure. 2 days later, I met Forrest at his home in Santa Fe, and he handed me my book with the doodle. Only after putting on my reading glasses did I see the little orange treasure chest in my back pocket. What did it mean? I tried combining it with the unique doodle in my arty book from December 2019, where the Indian is facing away from me, either wading across water or looking at the ground as he walked. I thought about his playful email where he mentioned mountains and coyotes. I thought about all the times in 2019 when he kept telling me I needed to go in the mountains and look for arrowheads. The GPS Operation Nook solve had it all. The Artie Doodle Indian was walking the trail to Shoshone Lake. The playful email about a coyote referenced the backcountry campsite named Coyote 8S3, and the TTC doodle with the chest in my back pocket referenced Pocket Lake. I know this was all confirmation bias, but when the GPS coordinates took us to this area, it was hard to dismiss. So now I want to get back to the poem and figure out the solve and where Jack found the treasure chest, starting with the big picture.
And then study the poem over and over, read it over and over, maybe even memorize it. And then go back and read the book again, looking for hints that are in the book that are going to help you with clues that are in the poem. That's the best advice that I can give. You have to find out, you have to learn where the first clue is. They get progressively easier after you discover where the first clue is.
I reached out to Jack with this Forrest statement about reading the book to learn where the first clue is. My question to Jack, was it an overall area like a macro picture of the area, and then the first clue is somewhere in that area, what I'm assuming is the big picture or the whole poem, or is it a micro precise area that is WWWH? Jack replied, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but my guess would be micro based on that context. The effect of figuring out the first clue would be to narrow down almost the entire Rockies, and that's huge. Okay, what all I have to say is, hey, we already can narrow it down to just the Rockies in Wyoming. Forrest said, read the book to learn where the first clue is, and he doesn't talk about any place in Wyoming outside of Yellowstone.
It's very straightforward, and yet people make the poem and the book so complex.
In the next video, I will discuss the clues using Jack's Q&As and Forrest's so-called hints that are actually non-hints in his mind, the canyon down and not far but too far to walk. I try to keep these videos short, so depending on the length, I might get into semantics and the use of Jack's word forest versus Forrest's word wood, if you are brave and in the wood. I received a nice comment from Salamander explaining it basically boils down to size. Till next time, stay safe.